Woman is dead and another woman is behind bars charged with her murder.
Police say when they arrived last Sunday night at May Street near Burbank and Walnut Hills, they found 33-year-old Diamond Rice suffering from a gunshot wound. She died at the scene. Court records state the shooting happened after an argument.
So my girlfriend little monthly op came this morning, she told me. So you know me, always doing my big one, even though I get nothing in return for this. Yeah, so I know it's coming or whatever, and she about to come in here, so bam. Big back snack bag. That's Period Appreciation Day right there. And I'm gonna sit and watch all her shows, and I wash clothes, and I folded them, and I put them away. And guess what? She's still gonna be mean as a motherfucker when she come in here, and that's okay. Take that on the chin.
She told the police she killed her partner in self-defense. The evidence says otherwise. On a Sunday night in Cincinnati, two women who shared vacations, a bed, and a life that looked perfect online ended up on opposite sides of a murder charge. By 10:15, one of them was dead on the floor. The other was on the phone with 911, saying words that would later be picked apart in a courtroom. She told the dispatcher, "She's gone." She said she believed her partner was about to kill her. But if that's true, why doesn't the evidence agree with her? Before we get into it, hit subscribe. This case is still unfolding, and you don't want to miss where it goes. This is the story of Diamond Rice. Before we get into the night everything went wrong, I want you to actually meet her. Because most true crime videos skip this part, they rush straight to the blood and the bond hearing, and honestly, that is not fair to the person who is no longer here to tell her own story. Diamond Rice was 33 years old. She was originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and about a year before her death, she made the move to Cincinnati. Now, moving to a new city in your 30s is not a small thing. You are leaving behind everything familiar, your people, your routines, your comfort zone, and you are betting on a fresh start. Diamond made that bet. And what did she do with that fresh start? She poured it into other people. Diamond worked in youth advocacy. The director of the youth advocacy program she worked for in Hamilton County described her as a powerful force. Think about that phrase for a second. Not a good employee, not a hard worker. A powerful force. That is the kind of thing you say about someone who does not just clock in and clock out, but actually changes the temperature of a room when she walks into it. People who knew her talk about a woman with heavy empathy. Someone who worried about your well-being without ever making you feel judged. The kind of person who could sit with a struggling teenager and somehow make that kid believe their life was not already written in stone. So hold that image in your head. A woman who spent her days convincing kids that people can change, that the past does not have to be the whole story. Because that image is about to collide, hard, with what happened inside her own home. Diamond's partner was a woman named Jasmine Blake, 31 years old. On paper, Jasmine looked like someone who was also building something. She was working as a nurse and studying at the University of Cincinnati. Two ambitious women, both climbing, both seemingly putting in the work to build better lives. From the outside, through the lens of social media, the relationship looked solid. Trips together, smiling photos. The kind of content that makes strangers scrolling through their phones think, okay, those two have it figured out. But you and I both know that social media is a highlight reel, not a documentary. What you post is the version of your life you want people to believe. And underneath the vacation photos, something was clearly shifting. We do not know every detail of what was happening behind closed doors in that apartment on May Street. What we do know is that on the night of February 1st, 2026, an argument broke out between the two women. And that argument did not stay an argument. It turned into gunfire. It was just before 10:15 at night when Cincinnati police got the call. Officers rushed to the 2300 block of May Street in the Walnut Hills neighborhood. When they arrived, they found Diamond Rice suffering from a gunshot wound. Paramedics tried to save her right there on the scene. It did not work. Diamond was pronounced dead before she ever left that apartment. Jasmine Blake was the one who had called 911. During that call, she told dispatchers that she believed Diamond was going to kill her. Now here is where it gets complicated, and this is the part I really want you to pay attention to. In the hours after the shooting, police did not immediately arrest Jasmine. They listened to her account. For a moment, it seemed like this might be treated as a clear-cut case of self-defense. But investigations do not stop at the first story someone tells. Detectives kept digging. They looked at the physical evidence at the scene. They reviewed the 911 call more closely. They talked to witnesses. And slowly, the picture that Jasmine had painted started to shift under the weight of the facts. Early the next morning, Jasmine Blake was arrested and charged with murder.
Breaking news.
That breaking news, Cincinnati police have made an arrest in that deadly shooting overnight in Walnut Hills.
Officers naming the suspect just in the last 15 minutes. Police say 31-year-old Jasmine Blake shot and killed 33-year-old Diamond Rice. Now, court records show the shooting allegedly happened during an argument on May Street at around 10 last night. Blake is charged with murder. She'll be arraigned on that charge at 9 o'clock this morning and will be in court to let you know what happens.
So what actually turned this from a self-defense claim into a murder charge? Let's break it down, because the details matter here. According to prosecutors, when they examined the scene, there was nothing to suggest that Diamond had a weapon of her own, nothing that would explain why lethal force was necessary. Investigators also said there were no significant injuries on Jasmine that would obviously support the idea that she had just survived a life-threatening attack. Jasmine's defense team pushed back hard. Her attorney argued that marks on her face were proof of a real physical altercation between the two women that night. And in a detail that honestly sounds like something out of a movie, Jasmine's brother was reportedly on a video call with her during part of the incident, which her defense says supports her version of events. So now you have two competing stories sitting side by side. On one hand, a woman who says she pulled the trigger because she was terrified for her life. On the other hand, a prosecution that says the evidence simply does not back that up. Jasmine appeared in court for her arraignment, where a judge set her bond at $750,000. That is not a number they hand out lightly. It tells you the court took the murder charge seriously from day one. And I want to pause here and say something important. Jasmine Blake has been charged, not convicted. Under the law, she is presumed innocent until a court says otherwise, and her self-defense claim has not been decided by a jury. We are telling you what has been reported and what prosecutors and the defense have each argued. The full truth of what happened inside that apartment is still working its way through the justice system. While the legal process grinds forward, Diamond's family has been left carrying something no court case can fix: the actual grief of losing her. Diamond's father had spoken with her just hours before the shooting. Think about that for a second. A completely normal phone call, maybe about nothing in particular, maybe about the very tension building in her relationship, and neither of them knew it would be the last conversation they would ever have. There is something devastating about that kind of ordinary moment becoming, in hindsight, so final. Diamond's mother has been just as vocal. She has described her daughter as someone who gave unconditional love, even to strangers, someone who made people feel like family the moment they met her. She has said she plans to travel to Cincinnati herself, to meet the young people her daughter mentored, and to keep pushing publicly for justice. That is not a small thing to do while you are grieving. That is a mother turning her pain into action. And that, honestly, sounds exactly like the daughter she raised.
Well, yeah, Dwayne, Diamond Rice is originally from Baltimore, and her dad, Scott, says she moved here about a year ago with her girlfriend, Jasmine Blake. Now, Blake made her first court appearance on Tuesday after she was arrested and charged with murder in Rice's death.
She's very kind. She's always, trying to do for other people before herself. She was real intelligent.
This is how Scott Rice is remembering his daughter, Diamond. He says she had been on the wrong side of the law at one point, but changed her life around. And one way was by getting involved with youth advocate programs in Baltimore.
And so she started working part-time for YAP in Baltimore. And then it became full-time.
Scott says she later transferred to the location in Hamilton County and worked her way into the role of assistant director.
A lot of the kids they can't get to, she can. So she was good. She was good for that. She wasn't too old.
He says he spoke with his daughter around 8:30 last Sunday night. They had talked about a disagreement she had with the woman she was dating, Blake. At 2:30 the next morning, he got a knock on the door from police.
And he started being a little nervous, right? I said, is it something bad? He said, yeah. He said Diamond was killed last night. He said, it was domestic. I said, Jasmine Blake? He said, yeah.
Honestly, I tried to reach out to Jasmine's mother because I know them. And I didn't get a response, but I just want answers.
The Rice family has received plenty of support in the days that followed. Scott says about 100 people braved the cold Saturday night to pay their respects and honor Diamond's life at a vigil held in Baltimore. Through the support comes a void left in Scott's heart.
It's going to start to really, really sink in that I ain't never going to talk to her no more. That I won't be able to tell her how proud I am of her.
Well, YAP Hamilton County Director Nate Letts said in a statement in part that Diamond was a powerful force at YAP and will be sorely missed here and across the country. He says she was passionate about her work as assistant director and her optimism was her superpower. Dwayne?
Now let's talk about what always happens once a case like this hits social media, because the comment sections have had a lot to say. Some people look at Diamond's public image, a woman who spent her career helping troubled kids find a better path, and struggle to picture her as the initial aggressor Jasmine's defense describes. Others point out that we almost never get the full, messy truth of what happens behind closed doors in any relationship, no matter how put together it looks online. Both of those instincts are understandable, but here is the honest answer. None of us were in that apartment. Not the commenters, not me, not you. What we have are police reports, a 911 call, physical evidence, and two very different accounts of the same 10 minutes. That is exactly why cases like this go to trial instead of being decided by whoever argues loudest online. As of now, the case is moving through the Hamilton County court system. A grand jury was expected to review the evidence to decide whether Jasmine Blake will face full felony prosecution. If that happens, this heads toward trial, where both sides will finally have to lay out their complete case in front of a jury instead of in front of a camera or a courtroom hallway. We will likely learn more as the process continues, more about that night, more about the relationship, and eventually, a verdict. Here's what I keep coming back to with this one. Diamond Rice spent her career trying to convince young people that their story was not already finished, that no matter how hard things looked, there was still a path forward if someone believed in them. She never got the chance to write more chapters of her own story. That was taken from her on a Sunday night in an apartment that was supposed to be safe. Whatever the courts eventually decide about what happened between her and Jasmine Blake, one thing does not need a verdict to be true. A woman who spent her life showing up for other people deserved to have someone show up for her that night, and she didn't. Our thoughts are with Diamond's family and everyone whose life she touched through her work. If this case affects you, and you are dealing with anything related to domestic violence, please reach out to a local support line or the National Domestic Violence Hotline, because nobody should have to carry that alone. Let us know what you think in the comments. Do you believe the self-defense claim, or do you think the evidence tells a different story? And if you want more cases like this one, real, ongoing, and still unfolding in real time, make sure you are subscribed, because we will be following this case as it develops. Stay safe out there. We will see you in the next one.